Okay, guys, thank you for joining us tonight. Sorry about the delay. Again, with technical issues, I was 2 seconds from throwing this camera out the window. So, thank God I didn't. Andrew here was being patient, so thank you for being patient. Guys, let's start with the usual. How do I look and how do we sound? Or how do we look and how do we sound? All right. So, we're doing pretty good. We have 114 people in the room.
Nice.
That's very good. All right, you sound good on this end. All right, we
All
are
right.
good. All right, 5 by 5, both good. Can he talk? Yes, he can talk. He will be talking in a couple minutes.
Absolutely.
Again, guys, tonight this is Andrew Julian prepping for life. I think that's an interesting YouTube title name, if you will. Uh, that's not your last name, is it?
Julian?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yep.
sir. Okay. So he used his whole name and then now prepping for life. So I think that's pretty good. Uh, so
Uh,
again, if he is low, guys, you're gonna have to turn up your speaker or put headphones on. Because on my end, he sounds good. He sounds very good. Do me a favor, 1, 2, 3, check on the inside.
One, two, three, check.
All right, you're good. You're good to go. Fuck it. It is what it is, man. All right. So now I have to ask you this question. It's the same question that I asked everyone. And you answered it earlier, so I'd like you to answer it again. Uh, what got you into YouTubing?
Uh, Honestly, I just kind of started doing it for fun. One day I was walking around and uh, going through a lot of random stuff in my head, and I thought, what the hell? I'll just start making some YouTube videos. Maybe I'll say something somebody hasn't said before in a different, or I'll say it in a different way to where maybe somebody will it'll click for somebody. Plus, I think doing the YouTube videos, getting the comments back, I thought it would be a great learning experience for me to get me connected to other people so I can just learn a lot. Plus, another actually random reason was for my grandbaby so she could see Pow Pow making videos and stuff. And that's kind of basically why I got into it. And it was maybe 2 months ago, I think, when I started doing them.
All right.
The name it was because I had no idea anybody was actually going to start watching it. So, and I had no idea how to set it up. So I just typed my name, and then the prepping for life is basically because everything you do, you're prepping for your life, basically.
Very good, man. Very good. Guys, you know the routine. Hit the like button or the thumbs down, whatever makes you happy. There's always one. So again, I appreciate that. If you haven't already, head over to Andrew's channel, which is Andrew Julian Prepping for Life on YouTube. Like and subscribe to his channel. Uh, let's get on with the next question. Okay, so why did you start prepping?
Um, well, first, man, thanks a lot for having me on here. I really appreciate it. But why did I start prepping? Well, we've been homesteading basically for over 20 years. And then I think it was like '07, we had an ice storm. And I had my three little girls and my wife at the house. And we were out of power for like 9 days. And we had some stuff and we made do. She still cooked things in the wood stove and brownies, food, all that good stuff. But we didn't have like some of the water resources we should have had. And every day, basically, I was hauling 330-gallon totes in the back of my truck from town out to the farm for the animals and stuff like that.
Oh,
And so the ice storm kind of it pushed us to want to start prepping a little bit more. And so we kind of dug our heels in a little bit more then. And then just probably a year ago, of course, we started really digging our heels in for obvious reasons. And so it was just, it kind of slowly moved forward, I guess, from just normal homesteading to prepping. to prepping harder a little bit. So
Very good. Um, how's the homestead doing?
it's doing great.
Yeah.
So I've got a really good wife. So even today, she built several other rabbit cages while I was at work, and uh, I think she's pretty much got it wrapped up now. So we're building it a little better each day, and it's doing really well actually.
Very good. Right. So, I know you said you just started YouTubing. Um, so far, how's the experience been? Being on YouTube, that is.
Interesting. I'm extremely camera shy, so it was kind of weird doing the filming. Plus, as soon as I started doing it, I kind of stumbled around a little bit, a lot because of just trying to have a conversation with myself, I guess is the first thought. But even though I'm still pretty camera shy about it all, it really evolved a lot once I started seeing people commenting and I started finding other channels that I really enjoyed and commenting on there. So it turned out already to be a really good, enjoyable experience overall. I mean, I'm really thrilled with it actually. So
Very good.
a lot more than I ever expected out of it.
Well, listen, like I said, you're doing really good. Your channel's doing good. You're doing good. A couple of people here say you're down to earth, and that's why you're on the show, or the show. Sorry, the video today or the live stream, because you are down to earth, and that's what I guess the prepping community needs. And it doesn't need people who wag their finger and point, say, "Look at me, follow me, I'm the end all be all." And that's why for everyone I've had on, everyone's been down to earth and really cool. Um, I haven't had any assholes on here, thank God, right? And I do vet before I put people on. So, talking to them for a little bit or watching their channel a little longer than I actually lead on to, I always find out that people are pretty good and down to earth. So, thank you for that. That's what I'm getting to.
Yeah.
So, I have to ask, do you have a garden?
Do I have a what?
Garden.
Yes. Yeah. We have a garden. We've had a garden for several years, and at first we were not very good at it. We didn't have very good luck at all, and this last year we kind of started doing a little bit of different stuff in there, hauling in a lot of wood chips, grass, prairie grass off the round bells, just all kinds of different materials, and ended up having an extremely good garden this year. Packed our freezer full. We had fresh vegetables every day. My wife did a really good job on it, and we didn't really have to do much weeding because of the way we put down everything. We kind of just built up the soil, because where we put the garden at this year, we moved it from where we had it before, and so there's a bunch of trees there. The ground was hard, so we had to mend the soil basically and make it a good workable soil. And we must have done something right because it turned out really good. One of the few things I haven't had to do twice.
Nice. So, what do you mean by mend the soil? Because I have zero knowledge of gardening other than what I see people do.
So I'm not like a gardener, but like when you mend the soil, basically like ours, you could barely, like, you hit it with a pickaxe and you take out a chunk that was the size of the pickaxe and about like that deep. It's really hard. So we brought in quite a bit of compost, and then, like I said, like the grass, leaves, some different dirts to mix it in, and we tilled it up real good and kind of mixed everything into there. And that's basically what mending the soil is to me, anyways, is just tearing it up and just making it a little bit better to where, instead of digging with a shovel to dig into it, you can take your hand and kind of dig into it in a lot of spots.
Okay.
My wife actually could tell you a lot more about mending soil. She knows a lot more about that than I do.
Yeah, it's funny. You and your wife were having a good time last night in
Oh yeah,
the video.
yeah.
Where, so I have to ask, what do you think of Bear Independent's, I guess, medical supply or kit that he sent you or that you bought?
Uh, I honestly think it's an extremely good kit. Obviously, I don't know nothing about it, but
Okay.
it was really well put together. Everything was made in America. You could tell you actually took time to put it together, um, and it was put together by an American. So that's two big pros for me. All the packaging seemed really good. and it was everything that was said that I seen was supposed to be in there. And it seems like overall I'm extremely happy with it. I think I honestly am going to end up with several more of those once I get the proper training and know how to use it. And I'm going to end up with several more of those because I'm extremely happy with them. And it's all quality stuff, it seems like to me. Of course, like I said, I don't know nothing about it, but in my personal opinion, it's extremely good quality stuff.
I was looking to buy some of his stuff. Fieldcraft Survival, which is by Mike Glover. I was looking to buy some of his stuff. And then you have Skinny Medic.
Oh
He's
yeah.
on YouTube, right? I was looking to buy some of his stuff just to do a comparison, which I'm pretty sure they're all about the same. But nonetheless, it's good to buy and, uh, I guess, sample from each of them to see who builds a better kit and
Right.
what you can learn from building your kit that certain way. Now, what are you
True.
doing to, I guess, better yourself medically or medical skill wise?
So I'm right now as it stands. If anybody watched that video I made, they're not going to let me put on a band-aid. Um, However, I'm taking a class with Bear Independent and in Oklahoma, December the 6th. And then I found several other classes that I'm wanting to take and hoping to take and try to just basically, now that I've bought the stuff and got what I've wanted and thought I needed, I want to try to find all the classes I can so I can really dig in my heels and just learn as much as I possibly can on that so that I can actually utilize the stuff and feel comfortable doing it. And then if you get into a high stress situation, I need a lot of training so that I can feel confident. And I thought worst case scenario, even if I don't learn how to use it, hopefully somebody around me will know how to use it. So at least I'll have them.
Well, no, I mean, and that's good because people, like you said in the video, it's you're going to learn how to do it. You're going to go to a class and you're not going to just watch YouTube videos, which is
Right.
what I always tell people. You can't watch YouTube videos your entire life, right? You actually, like when I was learning how to do like bushcraft and wilderness survival, you watch enough videos, but you have to go out there and apply it, right? So that you
Yeah.
know when you screw up, you're like, all right, I can't do it this way. I'll do it this way, this way next time. Though with you and medical training, you got to get it right the first time,
Oh yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because if you go, man, that didn't work out, the person's not going to make it. But
Yeah. That would be a bad day if I decided to do that.
like Domestic Gangster just said, she goes, hands-on experience, folks. Right, hands-on experience is king out of everything else. So someone also said Patriot Nurse. She gives a good course. I would absolutely look into taking hers. Again, Mike Glover's. I wouldn't mind taking her medical course. And Skinny Medic. I think is he out west or southwest from me? And I'm
I'm
not sure where he is, but wherever they are, I'm looking to travel probably next year, provided the COVID
yeah.
um, restrictions. Because right now, COVID restrictions are insane. So traveling
Uh,
is out of the question for me. At least traveling out of the state. So let's get into the big boy questions. What is your opinion on this whole COVID mess?
um, yeah, it's definitely a mess. That's for sure. I think it's a real thing. I truly do. I just think that they've, portrayed it as a lot more deadly and just made it a lot more than what it truly is. And at first, when it was coming out, I was a lot more concerned about it. And then as I started seeing more facts or not necessarily facts, just more information on it and everything like that, I started kind of not worrying about it as much as I did at first because it just doesn't seem as lethal as they keep portraying it. But I and then I'll sound a little bit like a conspiracy theorist here, but I believe that it was made in a lab as a biological weapon, basically, and then the media portrayed it as this huge epidemic to help weaponize this thing, basically. And it seems like it worked pretty good. They got some of their chess pieces in place, so that's
Well,
kind of how I feel on it. That they're just pushing it a little further than it truly should be.
it's funny, right? So you said that they're making it into a bigger deal. Now, initially when this came out, I was like, all right, this is real, this is bad.
Mhm.
But then when I started seeing who was dying and why they were dying, I was like, all right, they're unhealthy. All right. So now they keep pushing this number. 250,000 people died of COVID, and we are in November. So as of November 19th, today,
Mhm.
255,000 people died from COVID. So they're like, that's a grim number. I'm like, they can go, blow themselves because people die of a heart attack, probably triple that number. It's 655,000 people a year die from heart attack, and we're not doing anything to prevent that or slow that down.
Right.
Yet we're worried about a virus that's not even coming close to that number, right?
Yeah.
So again, when now that we're at the year, so like I told people at the beginning of this year, we have to play out the full year, and the full year is actually, uh, some people say November, some people say December. I would say around December, that will be the total number of people that we've had die from COVID around the world, and I think February or March will be the U.S.'s final number, 1 year where we'll get the final number, and still we won't even come close to the heart attack number or the asthma or COPD or high blood pressure, right? The complications of, I mean. So I definitely do, I'm starting to see through the I've started seeing through the bullshit a few months back, but like you said, it's an agenda that they're pushing really hard. So next question: what is your opinion on the election?
As far as what I, like what how I see it right now, how it's going, I
Yeah,
see the election as pretty much a big fraud right now. It kind of goes right back into them playing chess pieces, I guess. It seems like a big fraud, but yeah, I really don't know honestly. I'm drawing a blank for some reason.
no, it's fine because you know why? You're probably like everyone else, frustrated either way
Yeah,
you look at it, right? If you are a Biden fan, you're probably frustrated over the fact that people are saying there's cheating involved. If you're a Trump fan, you're frustrated over the fact that there was some cheating involved, right? So no matter how we look at it, I think we're all frustrated with the whole thing.
well, yeah, and it makes me a little bit concerned because you got the Biden folks that are all excited now because of what they're saying, and then Trump folks are all worked up. So no matter how this plays out, you have the potential for violence either way because somebody's going to be extremely upset, and you just got too many different worlds colliding right there. You got Biden with his economics. I feel like he's going to ruin the economy, and so you'll eventually have violence from that anyways because people will start getting hungry, and then they start doing things to, make sure they are able to feed themselves and their families. So you'll see violence there. If Trump gets it, you're going to see automatic violence because everybody's already celebrating that hates him so bad. So yeah, I guess that's probably you're actually 100% correct. That's probably why I drew a blank because it's just a complete frustration at this point that we're in this kind of a mess in the first place.
Yes, and yeah, I agree. This is probably the worst election in the history of the United States, I think, or
Yeah,
at least that I can remember. I mean, I'm 43, so I can only remember but so many, right?
right.
And looking at remembering the last, I don't know, few elections, nothing's ever been this bad. The tension's never been this high. People
Right.
never been upset at each other like this or not talking to one another. This is it's pretty insane.
Yeah, and there's a lot riding on it. I mean, more so than most other election, any other actually that I can think of too. There's just a lot more riding on it. It seems like.
Right. It seems like the biggest bet of your life right now, right?
Right.
You strike it big or you suffer big. So
Yeah.
it all depends on where you stand and how you look at it. So uh, let's go with the not an easier question, but just a question I like to ask most people. What do you think will come from the second wave? And how is it out by you with this whole COVID crap?
Uh, Man, the a second wave to me is going to be devastating, depending on the lockdowns, of course. And who's impact, who's our president at that time, because they'll handle it differently, of course. But if if we go into bad lockdowns again, it's just going to be devastating to the economy. I feel like it's just going to push us, because even like where I work at, for instance, when we went through the first wave, we got down to where we were only allowed 40 hours. We were literally only pushing out half of the products that we normally would, and it just got real sketchy whether we were going to have a job or not. So then you move into a second wave where the economy and everything is already kind of wobbling around and unstable at best. I just feel like a second wave and then lockdowns would completely crumble us. Basically, it would put us in a horrible bad spot in a real quick hurry, I feel.
Yeah, and you're right. Guys, as far as questions goes, do me a favor. Hold off on the questions till a little later. But Rosary Chaplet, I've heard the same thing during the Obama election, his second term. A lot of the votes did go overseas. They went to Spain, actually, a third-party company in Spain. So yes, it's not too far off with the what you're hearing anyway. Someone just said, "Hey, S. Moore, what's going on? How you doing?" So, what is your prediction for hell next year, as far as everything goes?
Well, I guess that depends on the reset or the Great Reset, whatever you want to call it. Like you said the other day, it doesn't matter what you call it; it's a reset. To me, it really depends on that. Uh, it's it's going to be interesting, I guess, at the least. It all basically depend on, once again, the president. I think a lot of it will, anyways. The whole economy is just, to me, is just in a complete disaster, and so is a lot of the country. So it's just going to vary on who's in office at that point.
Yeah.
So it could. Well, go ahead.
No. You go ahead. You go ahead.
I was going to say it could go, one of two ways. I guess it could. If we get Trump, we have the possibility of it turning around and going back up. If we get Biden, it's just going to down, to me, in my opinion.
Well, listen, you're right, and the only reason why I would say you're right is because something Biden said 2 weeks ago. Right? He said you can't fix the economy unless you fix COVID.
Yeah.
So right now, by saying that, I take that as okay. Are you going to completely tank it just to fix it? So are you going to lock us down? Or are you going to, like, what are you going to do? Texas today, the governor of Texas today said they're no longer going to do lockdowns. They're going to treat the illness, if you will. So if they have COVID cases, people are sick, they're going to treat the sick people, and they're going to do that accordingly. They're not going to lock down the entire state like New York is talking about again. You know?
That makes a lot more sense, though. I mean, to me, locking down an entire country or nations over something like this is just, it's crazy. I don't understand how any country can survive when they're not getting any kind of production out of it from lockdowns. And um, I don't know if a lot of people think about it or not, but like when you have these lockdowns, it affects clear into the oil industry and stuff like that, because vehicles aren't moving as much, planes aren't flying as much, so you start tapering into oil fields and everything around here. We've seen oil pump jacks that usually run constantly 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, all year round, every year. They were just shut down, not moving. And that's where we've seen it with the products that go to work on these wells wasn't moving as much because nobody was using the fuel and as much anyways. So it just really, it kills a lot more in depth than people think about. To me anyways, myself included, of course. But
Well, that's interesting you said that because I would have never have considered that. I guess you call them pump jacks, right?
yeah.
Right. I would never consider that they weren't pumping enough because there were not enough cars working or on the road, if you will. So that's
Right.
interesting.
Yeah, because if you're not moving enough, oil or fuel and things that require oil, or not producing enough stuff that requires oil, then these wells, if they're not making enough money off of it, it's cheaper to shut it down sometimes. Especially, you got some wells around here that are a barrel or 2 barrel a day. That's not worth even the electricity when the price goes down so much, and so they find ways to shut them down and just wait until the prices get back up, basically.
I guess, right? I mean, I don't know, man. You're right about the second shutdown. There's so much more at stake with a second shutdown here in New York. Be ready today. Thank you for the super chat, man. We appreciate it. Um, with the here in New York City, a lot of restaurants are closing down, and this is before we're entering the second lockdown. They are closing down because they just can't afford it. And it's funny because people like, well, if they shut down for a little while, they can reopen. How the hell are they going to reopen when they're struggling right now? When you're telling them they can only have 25% of their normal capacity inside, and then you have
Yeah.
people outside, and it's fucking freezing out there. At least yesterday was freezing. So when I walked by all the outdoor diners, the outdoor indoor diners, if you will, there was nobody inside these things, because it was just too cold, and we haven't even hit the cold season yet. We're just beginning, right?
Right.
So I know, like Philly had their lockdown is a little reasonable, but I think they backed it down to 10% or something like that, indoor eating, and you could only have 4 people at the same table from the same household. But what if you have fucking 5 or 6 people from the same household? Do they eat at
Right.
another table now? Like it's stupid things like that, and I don't know where they're pulling these rules out of their ass. But
Right. So
nonetheless,
yeah, me and my kids and wife couldn't even go in and eat. Then we've got 5 and then the grandbaby, so we couldn't even eat together. And when they were in the house, there was just 5 of us. Yeah, I'd have to leave one of the kids at home, or I stay at home so everybody else can go out and eat. That makes no sense, and it doesn't make sense financially for them to cut these businesses back like that, because they're cutting out a large portion of their income.
right, and that's the problem here that we're seeing. These people their income's being affected no matter how you look at it. There's like,
Right.
well, we could do deliveries. Well, deliveries are not doing good. It's not paying their rent. It's not even paying half their rent. All right, so let's open up 25%. Okay, that's just paying the rent. That's not paying my staff, right? Oh shit! Here comes the cold weather and COVID's going up again. We're gonna have to shut the city down. You know how many restaurants are gonna be toast after this? I mean, like done. And so that's the bigger issue is that the economy in New York City is gonna look like fucking Detroit after the next shutdown. It's gonna be bad.
Yeah.
Nisi Preps, thank you for the donation. I appreciate it. We appreciate the donation. Thanks a lot.
So there is like Walmart and stuff. Is that 25% too? You can only go in 25% of the people into Walmart and these big stores like that, or is it still just open full run? Because I know the first lockdown around here, they were shutting down a lot of places, and you couldn't, or the first wave, I'm sorry, they were shutting down a lot of places, like, oh, you can't go in here because of this, barber, whatnot, but and limiting people to places. But Walmart was full reign, doors wide open. You could have as many people in there as you wanted. Is that the same way? Is it the same way there?
Yes, Walmart is open for everyone to fucking do whatever they want. But it's not like you said. Everyone else has to do 25% of the business. Walmart and the big chains target the people who pay the most taxes. They
Yeah,
get free carte blanche. You know.
yeah, that's very interesting. That's an extremely interesting part of this whole scenario to me.
Right. They pick and choose who they want to survive, pretty much, right?
Right.
Because Walmart and Target are always going to get their fucking money, right?
Oh yeah,
Hella high water. But everyone else has to suffer big time. And,
exactly.
I mean, in supermarkets here, they don't do the 25%. They're operating at full capacity, and some of the supermarkets are like, smaller chains here, but they let them survive. But restaurants, they're like, you can go fuck yourselves. That's what they're telling restaurants, right? Um, which is bad. So
Yeah.
you're at the homestead, and it's time for you to bug out. Do you bug out or do you stay and defend?
I'm going to stay and defend. Bug out for us is going to be a very last ditch out option. We'll bug in, and we'll bug in harder. And we'll try to defend everything as long as possible. And I'd almost, and it's easy to say why it's this type of situation, but I'd almost rather die at home than out on the run. But when that situation arises, you may be feeling a lot different at that point. I've never been faced with it. It's just something that I feel like that would be how I would take it. And we got a lot of resources there, and we've set up a lot of ways to protect our home and everything. And we've taken a lot of steps to make it as secure and provide for us as much as possible. So I feel like I would bug in as hard as I possibly could and as long as I possibly could.
Very good. I mean, for everyone else who watches me when I do my videos, they're always like, "Oh, you got to get the fuck out of the city. You got to get out of Dodge." I'm like, "Yeah, I know. I know. I'm, surrounded by the bullshit, but I can't snap my fingers and be somewhere else. But
Right.
if I had land like you guys, absolutely bugging out would be the last choice. Whereas in the city, bugging out is like right up there, probably on the option 5 or 6. I wouldn't say number one. Number one would be, stay home as long as you can. Once I get to option 5 or 6, it's time to leave. Because you
I
could.
if I lived in Sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say if I lived in a city, I definitely have a better bug out plan. We do have bug out plans and several different options. It's just those are our last ditch options. But if I lived in a city, they would definitely move up a lot for me. It's
Okay,
just
so
rural Kansas.
all right, so then I was going to ask you, you have bug out bags then, right?
Yeah, we actually have bug out bags, but honestly, they're not full of anything right now because our plan is to bug in. However, we do have everything, not everything, but we have everything we think we need to put into them. And we have it there at the house, and we could easily put it in there. I'd wait until the situation got worse before I'd start loading it, probably, or maybe if we get enough snowy, cold days or we get lockdowns, maybe we'll go ahead and start loading them up and taking an inventory of what we truly have. But yeah, we do have them. We just don't really have them loaded. Now we have I got an everyday carry bag that I take everywhere with me. That's loaded pretty decent, and it's to get home. It's a get home bag basically. And then I have uh, a couple bags that are more like 2 or 3 weeks or something like that, to where if I had to stay out a little bit longer, I could. If there was something I was needing to do, some sort of perimeter checks or whatever, and I decided to stay out, then I could do that for a couple, 2 or 3 weeks easily out of the bags we have. So I guess it could be a small bug out bag.
Oh, very good. Well, no, so then yeah, you have a. Because I was going to ask you if you had an EDC, and then someone asked the same question in the chat, and then you answered it. So that's good because you're always on the road, no?
Right.
Okay, so then you need that.
Well,
You,
not like on the road like a truck driver or nothing, but I where I live at is like basically 30 minutes to get to work, and the closest city's an hour. A small city, which Lyons I don't think has 20,000 people. I don't know what it actually has, but it's 20 minutes away from me. Uh, but yeah, so I mean, everywhere we have to go, we have to travel somewhere to get anything, basically. So yeah, we have stuff that we carry with us regularly in the vehicle, so that if there was some sort of situation, then we would have things with us.
all right, very good, man. It's funny because most people, not anyone on the show, but most people can't answer that. Like I don't have a bug out bag because I'm staying put, which is great because if that's your option, then and you don't have to go anywhere. But I always stress that people should have a bug out bag just in case you can't hold the fort, just in case you have to bounce. Like if it gets that bad.
Yeah, or even if there was something as simple, and there's something else I've been kicking around. So even if it was something as simple as a fire, or something else, a wildfire like they're having everywhere, since they've been having those, just something like that's made me think, man, maybe I should get these things packed up just in case something like that happens. It's not a end of the world scenario. It's just wow, this is happening. Then we could grab and have some stuff to be able to take with us in real short order, basically. So I've been kind of kicking around a little bit differently lately. So
No, and and again, that's a good way to think. Everyone thinks that, oh shit, you need a bug out bag to bug out because the shit's the hammers drop. No,
right,
like you just said, a simple fire in your apartment. or bad flooding, especially in an apartment
Yeah.
building, or bad flooding, like I saw the other night. We go on a water leak, and usually with water leaks, with firefighters, that is water leaks, it's either a drip that you look at the person like, you fucking kidding me, you couldn't turn this off, or it's like Niagara Falls, and you're like, holy shit, we gotta turn this off now, like. So it's always those two extremes. It's like never like an in between, and the uh, in these apartments, not the apartments I live in. Here in New York City, a lot of apartments have automatic sprinklers, right? So if
Oh,
there's a fire, it goes off, puts the fire out. This guy's sprinkler just popped, and it was because of the weather. So it popped. His room turned into again Niagara Falls, and the person underneath him took the beating. There was water coming down every last crack or weight in the guy's ceiling. I mean, it was just raining in his apartment, and he got
wow.
screwed. Right. So even something like that, you're definitely going to have to leave your apartment, and you can't. I mean,
Right.
you listen. Are you bugging out? No, but are you taking a shit and leaving for the night? Yes, right. So that's where bug out bag comes in handy. Even something like that. Uh, and Marbury says yes, water causes more damage than fire because water has also a lasting effect of mold if you don't get
Mhm.
to it or fix it right away or knock down the drywall, sheetrock. Sorry, so bug out bags have more uses than just the end of the world.
Right.
All right, so we are moving really good tonight. It's actually flowing nicely, like most of the guests. So I have to ask you this question. I mean, I know the answer. I know the answer, but actually, before I ask you that question, I'm gonna ask you this one. What is your biggest fear with this whole prepping thing, or what's going on now?
Basically, economic collapse, I suppose, would be it. Is probably my biggest fear. Seeing that, to me, like the system was basically set up and designed to fail at some point. Our dollar. That's just how it feels, anyways, and it seems like we're moving closer and closer to that. And it's just like empires only last so long, I guess you'd say, and we've well outlived ours. So it's just I'm not a history buff by any means, but it seems like history repeats itself constantly, and we've made it well beyond what we're supposed to be. So yeah, definitely an economic collapse would be my worst fear.
All right. So my next question is, and like I said, I know the answer, but um, do you own firearms, and what is your favorite firearm?
Yes, I do own firearms. Do I have to pick just one favorite, or can it be a pistol, shotgun, and rifle?
Yeah, whatever, like a bunch. Go, have
Uh,
at it.
AK-47 is my go-to. AK-47 is most definitely my favorite firearm. I believe that thing was completed in 1947, and it's been reliable ever since then. And so reliability to me is a key factor. I like AR platforms; they're very functional as well. But AK is most definitely my favorite one, and that's why I even have the AK-47 12 gauge. So
Really?
yeah,
There is such a thing, huh? Like I said,
yes,
I know
there's
nothing about guns, so you know.
I,
You and Alaskan ballistics, are and Colin or what's his name, Colin Noir, uh,
Noir.
right? That I have to go to learn about firearms because like all I know is like the gun, the bad part, which is with the barrel, and then you aim it opposite you. It's about as far
Yeah.
as I go with knowing guns.
I don't know that much about them. I know my ones that I like, and I know them. I know how to tear them apart, put them back together. Make sure they function properly and everything like that. But that's about the gist of my knowledge of firearms. I know a little bit about some of the makes and models and stuff. But
Well, listen, there's a lot to learn about firearms. That's the other thing.
oh yeah,
I mean, there's so many firearms out there. When I was into guns, I was probably 13, 14 years old. My father would buy me gun magazines, and I would not that I would learn everything about them, but I would learn what were the latest. So, to show you how old I am, the Beretta 92F, not the FS, but the F, which was like their top of the line model that started appearing in movies. Die Hard, Lethal Weapon, right?
Okay, yeah,
And then Browning at the time, their handguns were pretty decent back then. I don't know anything about Browning now, but that's how old I am, and that's the last time I learned about firearms. Now I don't know what the hell's available, you know. So if I went to
well,
a gun store, I'd be like, "Fuck it, I'll buy it all," you know, because I don't know any, I don't know any better, you know.
yeah. I know a little bit better than that, I guess, but I'd still try to buy it all. I just I get reined in a little bit now. My wife, she'll buy her own firearms too, so I got to kind of rein her in once in a while as well. But um, yeah, my dad is my go-to on firearms. He knows a lot about firearms, and he knows he can gunsmith pretty dang well too.
Oh
So
shit.
um, yeah, I wasn't smart enough to learn much of that from him, but at some point in my life, I might get down there and try to learn once I get past learning some of the other things I really need to learn too. But yeah, he's a hell of a gunsmith, actually.
Nice, man. It's very good. Like I said, I'm always willing to, when it comes to firearms, learning about it. Like, I learned the basics on how to shoot and shit like that. But again, like, there are guys who could rattle off specs on guns. I'm like, holy
Oh yeah.
shit, how the fuck did he remember that? Then he goes down 20 of them. You're like, that's insane. But listen,
Hmm.
that's what gun enthusiasts do, or gun owners do. You know.
Right.
So, um, what mistakes have you made, and how did you learn from it when it came to homesteading?
Oh, to homesteading.
Yeah.
Uh, Oof, man, that's a long list.
Okay.
Let me think. On homesteading, the mistakes we've made. Well, lots. Basically, everything I do, I got to do twice anyway. So, um, the biggest mistakes we made homesteading wise was probably just not doing any research, I guess, on, I lived in town before we moved out here. So I came out into the country with, very minimal knowledge on any kind of farmsteading stuff. I played around out the creek and stuff like that when I was a kid, but, I never really knew anything about, planting gardens, raising animals, stuff like that. And so we just, oh, we want this, we want rabbits or ducks or whatever. So we just jumped into it and didn't really know, like, you know, really what type we were getting or why we were getting them. We just thought, well, we'd have food then at that point, but we didn't really research what we should have had. And that's where, like, I guess the learning curve was, we learned that we liked Muscovy or Muscovy ducks, however you want to pronounce it. I'm not sure, but Muscovy ducks because they're a dark meat and they're like, to me, they're a really good beef replacement. You could basically use them for beef, and so we prefer those types of ducks. And then we learned that we prefer Rhode Island red chickens, and you know. I can't tell you the type of rabbits that my wife prefers, but I know she prefers a certain type of rabbit.
Okay.
So, and that was just learned by our mistakes of just choosing random things at first that we thought, oh, a rabbit's a rabbit, a duck's a duck,
All right.
and so that would be my probably the biggest homesteading mistakes was, just buying stuff that I didn't know nothing about and then fumbling my way through it instead of learning about it before we jumped into it.
Well, I mean, listen, that's always good, and you're only gonna learn through mistakes. I mean, you could do, like you said earlier, you could do a lot of YouTube shit till you're blue in the face. You're not gonna actually, it's not gonna actually sink in until you learn the hands on, or you make a mistake and go, shit, I'll never do that again.
Yeah,
You know.
we just reset a water containment center not too long ago that it wasn't set properly, so we had to, brace this thing up and dig under it by hand, pretty dang deep because I think it was a 2,500 gallon container, and we had to put, some sort of pads in there for it to set on and be able to, hold up. So yeah, definitely planning ahead and learning and knowing what you're doing is a big thing for any type of homesteading.
Okay. Very good. All right. So I asked this question out of all my guests, and obviously it's your turn. I'm pretty sure you know what the question is, but I want to ask it anyway. You are, bugging out because your homestead was attacked, and you're 2 days on the road, and you come across this prepper stash, an obvious prepper stash. Do you take it? Do you leave it?
Well, so I guess this will define me as a person. Like, like to me right now, if I was walking down the street and I seen $1 laying on the ground, I'd pick it up.
Okay.
And everything's good now, and that's worthless paper. I mean, it's worth a little bit, I guess, but I'd pick it up and take it with me. So then, if I put myself in a situation where me or my wife or my children could be possibly hungry or needing something, then yeah, I'd pick it up. I'd definitely be leery of it and kind of concerned about why it's there and not hidden very well, but I would definitely pick it up and use it.
All right, very good. Like I said, I always tell people there's no right or wrong answer because you don't know what situation you're going to be in at that given moment when you come across that, that stash or whatever it is.
Right.
Like I said, I run that question because of the road. When he was, he ran into that bunker that had all that food and water and a bed and a shower. And then he abandoned it. I was like, what the fuck's he doing? But um, nonetheless, it was a movie. Tyler Durden was saying, take some, leave some. Yeah, like I said, does it depends on where you at that moment. If you have enough gear, I'd leave it. But if I don't and I'm down and out, I might take some. Or if I'm by myself, I'll push on until I make it to where I have to make it to. Right? Like, it all depends on the situation and what you're faced with. So let's see, where are we at? All right, we're at the 15-minute mark. Sorry, the 45-minute mark on here because we started late. The stupid, what you call it? Oh, so one announcement I have to make. I try to make this every show, guys. So for those of you that are not following these people, I'm gonna try to remember the best I can. Pinball preparedness, prepper now, be ready today, prepping inside the box, TJ Preps, Prepper Nation, Alaskan Prepper, Happy Prepper. There's so many damn preppers in this. Um, Head over to their channel and like and subscribe. Magic Prepper as well. Prepper 101. That's another guy you should start following. I just learned about him not too long ago. And if I missed anyone, put it in the chat section on the side, guys. I have a brain of mush, so trying to remember everyone is getting harder because the list is getting longer now. Also, yes, Canadian Prepper. That's another guy. Obviously, that goes without saying. I'm pretty sure all of you guys are following him. So again, guys, I do appreciate you guys for liking, subscribing to our channel. Now, your philosophy, because you're so down to earth, I'm curious about this, and it just popped into my head. What is your philosophy on handling assholes on YouTube?
Yeah, I actually it was funny because I think it was like the very first or second video I ever did was the only comment I got on it was kind of a shitty comment, and I just slept it off. Like, whatever, dude. I obviously am just doing this, and there's nobody on my channel. At that time I had 0 subscribers or whatever, and he gets on there and makes some shitty remark, and I didn't even humor it. I just kind of giggled and moved on with it. I think people are gonna like me or they're not. They can watch me or they can move on to something more entertaining or useful. That's so with people coming in and trying to make crappy remarks. I got thick skin, man, and it's not gonna bug me none.
No, that's that's good. It's funny, right? What's funny? Like when you first start YouTube and you get like one comment, good, bad, or whatever, you're like, oh man, I got a comment. Like
Yeah,
you get excited. You're like, holy shit, and then then you read the comment again. You're like, whatever. That's the first of many, right?
I was like dick.
Right. So you just you roll with it. I think it's always funny, like when you first start your channel, because even now when I get comments, I still get like I don't listen. I try not to get like too excited, like have my adrenaline going because of the response that we're starting to get from this shit. But
Mm.
I do appreciate a lot of the comments when I do get them.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah. They're
I just read in the chat, somebody said Voltron Prepper. Please tell me you're fucking with me because there's no way someone has a prepper channel named Voltron Prepper. That would be just insane, and I'd have to see this guy's channel because I'd be curious at that point. Um, but let's see. All right, guys. So now we are Good. We're at the 50-minute mark. So can you now start asking questions? Whatever the question is pertain. Please have the questions for the guest, not for me. I'm not answering questions tonight. Tonight's not my night. It's the guest night, and tomorrow night we're having TJ preps on as well. So she'll be on tomorrow night, guys. So stay tuned for that. I am trying to sound a little more professional with this, announcing the next show, so that people it lines people up. I'm
That's
starting to
good.
sound like
Yeah.
a fucking talk show host. Like, oh, guys, stay tuned, and what?
There you go. Hey.
Yeah. Oh, my wife is going at it again. Yeah, I tell people my wife is on here, so she's not having it with some of the questions. I can't control it. So, you say something that she doesn't like. Guess what, man? What is your broke out plan? So someone's asking you, what is your bug out plan? Uh, don't answer that if you don't want to. I mean, listen, no one knows where you're at either. So,
Yeah, it's to go. I got 3 or 4 different directions I'll go, and 3 or 4 options that I would decide to think about at those particular times. But yeah, I'd really pass on that one.
very good. Someone's saying I need to interview my wife one night.
That actually might be interesting.
That could be interesting. Okay, so someone asked, and this is a question I was going to ask, but I'm like, fuck it, I'll let somebody else ask it. How did you get the scar on your cheek?
uh, so
Okay,
70 mile an hour in a Mustang, and a grain truck ran a stop sign and hit it face plant into the windshield. Those little things, you click it or tick it probably would have kept that from happening.
no,
I mean, that's like all this up in here and my eyelids all screwed up. But
no kidding.
yeah, I sleep with it. My eyes are partially open while I'm up. So yeah, and that happened when I was in high school. Crushed my femur, a few other things. So I had a heavy bag behind the seat, so that didn't help the situation either. But
No shit.
yeah, that was my first experience with the jaws of life. It was interesting.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Shit. And you said something about your eye. What? It doesn't close all the way when you sleep?
Yeah. So when I sleep, they stitched it together because my face was kind of mangled up a little bit.
Right.
And then a couple years later, I was kind of ornery, and so I got into a scuffle, and it got split back open, and I could see through it. But yeah, so when they stitched it back up, it made it tight, so when I sleep, it just kind of hangs out there. So it's real dry in the mornings.
Oh shit. Oh shit. Okay.
Okay.
Um. So someone asked Moldy Soldier. I like that one actually. I like that name. They asked, and by the way, that question I actually sorry was from Van Cult. By the way, so Moldy Soldier asks, what is your favorite EDC item?
My favorite EDC item.
Yeah.
Well, I kind of live in 2 different worlds there, but I guess you're a boxer and I was a boxer, so this one here is my primary, this is my secondary.
Nice.
But no, my favorite EDC is my Springfield Armory 9mm.
No shit.
Yeah, and it's a 19+1, and I carry 2 extra mags, and she fits comfortably, and it's been a super super reliable little pistol. So that is actually definitely my most favorite thing.
Nice. Right. Listen, I can't have one. My favorite EDC which would be my Recon One Cold Steel knife. That's about as good as I can do with a weapon here in the city. And even then, I'm only allowed to carry it because I'm a fireman.
Oh, wow.
Right, because it's a tool. But other than that, a firearm, man. That's why I want to get the fuck out of here. So I could fucking have John Wayne down the street with a gun on my hip. I'm just kidding. It's just
It's kind of nice to open carry once in a while. Here in Kansas, they don't carry if you open carry, and I like it for some things, but for the most part, I prefer mine concealed. But
I'm a big fan, and like I said, I don't carry guns, obviously, but I am a big fan of concealed carry. I don't like other people to know what I'm carrying.
yeah, exactly.
All right, so they go. So this question is from CH. What is your most unique prepper gear item that you think everyone should have?
Um, I don't know. Would a possible I've been tinkering around with car alternators to produce some energy, and I've got some very energetic dogs and um, a treadmill that I could either use or they could use, and spinning an alternator, tinkering around with it to push power into a battery that you can, run an inverter and stuff like that off of, and run in different pulley sizes so you don't have to spin it so fast. You just adjust your pulley size, run a much larger pulley down to that alternator. That would that be considered a prepper item? Because that's something I'm definitely working on and trying to get hopefully perfected here in the next couple months.
No, absolutely. That's a good prepper item. And someone asks, okay, so Chad Mill asks, do you or your wife do any canning?
No, not really. Actually, she's got some ways to learn. Her mom does a lot of canning and stuff like that. We honestly haven't done much of that.
Okay.
It's more, buy it at the store type of stuff. And with her mom doing so much of it, like this last time, I think my wife supplied her with all the vegetables and stuff like that. And she usually, just like this last time, they go down there to her mom's house and then they all just get together and they do this big old, canning day thing.
When do you guys do it? Like once a year, once a month?
I don't want to lie to you, but I think they do it like a couple times a year. Like when you get your harvest with your vegetables, and then like this last time she went and did apples. So I don't know if I think her mom got golden delicious apples from the store, and they just canned a bunch of them, or
Okay.
I don't know where she got them at. I just knew she was going to go canning, so
Well, listen, for those of you that are going to ask, no, I have not canned yet. So please, I'm getting around to it. I promise I'll get around to it. Chad Mills, thank you for the donation. And Monica DiCarlo asks, what is your opinion on the vaccine? That's actually a good one.
I honestly haven't even taken a flu vaccine in a long time. I think I was a kid when the last time I had a flu vaccine. So my opinion is, I guess if you feel like you need it, take it. I absolutely will not be taking it, and I feel like that's a move in the wrong direction. I feel like they're putting it into play too fast. I don't know any other. I'm not, of course, a doctor or anything, but I don't know any other vaccine that's been done in this short a time, and you don't know what any side effects are or anything like. I mean, there's no side effects with vaccines that have taken years to get done,
Right.
in my opinion. And plus, yeah, I just feel if you build up your immunity and you eat properly and do all these things and exercise, all that stuff, I think it's better than the flu shot.
And I guess that's my point now. Like with a lot of the videos, or when people ask me, "Are you taking the flu shot?" I'm like, "No, I'm not taking the flu shot." Two, if we build our immunity and strengthen it, not so much boost it, but strengthen it, we should be
Right.
fine. CH, thank you for the donation. We appreciate it. Thanks a lot. Okay, so someone Prepper 101 is asking, what do you think about the curfews in the states where they're happening?
Well, I think it's a really good thing actually because I know COVID comes out at 10 o'clock, so I want to be inside before COVID comes out. I think that's a big bullshit move, honestly. I don't understand the curfew. What does that have to do with COVID? More people are active during the day. What's the point of a curfew? All that is to me is just another power play. It's setting up something to make you start complying and conforming and getting used to getting orders barked at you and just putting your head down and doing what you're told. Kind of. That's how I feel about the curfew.
That's exactly where what I was getting at earlier when I was talking about it. I was like, this is everything they're setting in line or setting in play, if you will. Sorry, it's a power move, and it's a power move against us. And because they're supposed to be working for us, the politicians, are supposed to be working for us. They should be listening to us, not the other way around. But
Fact,
whatever, right? Uh,
fact.
be ready today. You are you ever had COVID? Oh, okay. Yeah. I never had COVID because COVID can't live in me. But that's a different story. And yes, the wife and kids had it months ago, and they got through it. Though my son, though, he looked like pure shit when he had it. I got worried. I was like, oh shit, I'm going to have to take him to the hospital. I mean, like, they've gotten sick, not like that. That was strange. But as far as the vaccine goes, I don't. The wife's not taking it, the kids are not getting it, and I'm not getting it. So, there you go. Okay, Highland Husky asks, "What is your favorite quick meal?"
My favorite quick meal,
Yeah,
tuna.
yeah.
I mean, tuna. I don't know if that's a whole meal, but if I have to throw something else with it, some bread, I guess, tuna sandwiches. Uh,
That's my quick meal too when I'm out camping. Tuna in a
yep,
packet.
yep.
Break it open, throw some mayonnaise in it, done.
Everybody at work, me and my son-in-law work together, and so everybody at work, they always giving us a hard time because there's just constantly, he eats tuna as much as I do. There's just constantly tuna cans in the trash can. They're like, good God.
Nice, nice. Uh, Lee Lee Burris. I'm sorry if I screw up your name, guys. She's asking, are you close to, I guess, the city or a city?
Well, like a bigger city for me would be at least an hour away, and it's not even a real big city. I mean, if anybody knows anything about Kansas, even Wichita, that's 2 hours for me. So,
Wow.
you know, uh, I guess a medium-sized city would be an hour from me.
Oh shit. Okay. A medium-sized city. What you said that earlier? What would be the population of that?
Well, like, I think there's seriously like 25,000 people in uh, the nearest town to me,
No sh.
and that's if you go either direction. Uh, there's one small town straight north of my place. There's one small town straight south of my place.
No kidding. Fucking
Yeah,
25,000. That's wow.
it's small. There's nothing.
Uh, prepped Inicus. Oh, sorry. Prepped in Kansas. My bad. Sorry about that. I don't get the question. What about crutches? We all have X, tobacco, alcohol, and such. Could you clarify that question for me, or for us, rather? Sorry, but other than that, thank you, Angryprepper, City, Hutchinson, Kansas. I don't care if people know. Uh, so Prepper Brian Keith is saying he lives in Hutchinson, Kansas.
That's an hour and a half probably from me.
Oh shit. Okay, very good. Do you
I have
prep?
to look at that one.
Right. Okay. So Prepper in Kansas said, "Do you prep for them?" Uh, Still not getting
So I
it. My brain,
prep.
like I said earlier, guys, my brain is mush, so I'm fucking, uh, you know, not running on all cylinders right now. So what portion? And Prepper now asks, what portion of Kansas? I don't know. I guess he mean, south, north, west, east, PMs.
Pretty much central, I guess.
All right. This is for you. How are you? Oh, okay. Okay, Prepper 101. Again, guys, the questions are for the guest, not for me. Uh, How are you set up on medical supplies? Prepper 101, I'm fine on medical supplies. I got enough to treat probably over 100 people.
Nice.
Okay, he goes, do you prep for alcohol, tobacco, or anything like that? Okay, so Prepped in Kansas is asking, do you have alcohol, tobacco, or anything like that to barter with? There it is.
Yeah,
Thank you,
yeah.
Prepped in Kansas. You
Yes,
do.
I do. Yeah, we have. Uh, just literally a specific area that's set up like a little bar that's we buy, and so the way my wife and I actually do it, we're prepping alcohol for barter and trading, but we're also prepping it for certain elements, I guess you could say, or different recipes that people will use to help, if you got hot toddies or whatever is what my mom used to call them, and stuff like that. And uh, there's some medicinal alcohols, and then when we buy different sizes, the little bitty guys and clear up, and that way you do have some bartering type of stuff. Tobacco, um, not so much. I honestly don't know a good way to store it other than in the freezer, but the alcohol it's a simple thing that can store in pretty much any condition. So we went with alcohol.
Very good.
plus fires and everything else,
Well,
cleaning.
I consider I not consider. I think that tobacco is hard to keep fresh, right? Is that why?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
very good. All right, so prepping outside the box acts. Are you ever going to consider doing a live stream that's used?
Me?
Yeah.
I did. I just did it, sir. But I would. I have no idea how to set it up, honestly, and I don't know what all the regulations, I guess, are. And I'd have to watch several more of these to be able to see, how you lead with it. I feel like I'd have to get some more experience, I guess, in the YouTube world before I would feel comfortable doing one. Um, but yeah, I would definitely consider it.
Well, you would just an advice from me. You'd be fine doing a live stream. You would just like be talking into your camera like you do, right? When you do your videos, except for now you're talking into the camera and you're looking at the comments and answering whatever comes across. So it's
That makes
fairly
sense.
simple. You can have your again, you can have your kids help you, right? They could they could square you away. Setting up the camera so that you can do the live stream. It's simple once you get it done. Once you do it
Okay.
once or twice, it's easy, man. It doesn't it's not hard at all. I was I
So
was I was a little nervous at first, like setting it up and getting it right. And you could set up simple. Start up with the webcam on your computer, right? You do that
10
at
4.
first, man. It's easy street. Doesn't get
Well, hey, and then I guess I got a question because I watch prepping outside the box pretty much religiously, so I'd like to see him do some live streams as well. I think um, he'd be a good one to see some live streams on.
Oh, he should definitely do live streams. I mean,
Oh yeah.
first of all, a lot of people who can talk, like Financial Prepper last night, he's good.
Hmm.
He should be doing live streams, you know. Uh,
Yeah.
and the
Yeah.
thing is, this stuff it just builds your channel, just gets people. Holy shit, he's on live. All right, so you get more people on. Like then you do videos, and like, oh man, he's got another video out, and so it just builds your channel, just helps build your channel, and it helps spread the word that you're trying to spread.
Exactly. Yeah.
So 0 feet per second. Which guides is a hunting guide here in New York State. So if you're here in New York State or in Connecticut, Jersey, or want to travel here, 0 feet per second is a hunting guide that has his own piece of land where you can hunt on, and he teaches you how to hunt. He doesn't just throw you to the wolves. All right. So Jesus Christ, he just asked a question and I lost it. Oh, there it is. He goes, Andrew, what is your favorite budget prep?
Favorite budget prep?
Yeah.
Beans and rice.
Okay.
And 7.62 by 39 ammo. So I got three of them.
Oh shit. Okay. Very good. All right. How do you set up Now, Tommy N's asking, how do you set up night vision and infrared?
That would be somebody way above my pay grade. Um,
Same here.
to help probably prepping outside the box could do that, or there's a lot of guys I've seen setting all that stuff up. Sorry, if I misled on my gun knowledge there.
Okay, right. So prepping outside the box, Tommy N is somebody a channel you could visit who can definitely tell you how to go about it with his military background and his experience. Do you run body armor? If okay, so Prepper 101 asks, do you run body armor? And if so, ceramic or steel?
Unfortunately, ceramic right now. I went with what I could afford, and yes, I do run it, and it's always in my vehicle. My plate carrier's always in my vehicle.
You know what's funny? Someone had asked me the other day, or a couple of weeks ago, rather, um, about body armor, and I'm like, yeah, I have some from when I trained in Blackwater, and that's when they called it the U.S. Training Center. Um, and when I trained there, I had body armor, and someone was like, if you're gonna do those live streams when the shit gets ugly, or if it gets ugly, they said you should put that on. I'm like, it's a good idea. All I have to do is get some kind of Velcro that says like media or some shit on it, so they don't
Yeah.
shoot at me. But nonetheless, when they said that, I realized how real it was getting out there. I'm like, that's interesting. And now I have to think about body armor if I do live streams for that stuff. Prepping outside the box said ceramic is better, and I was going to say that.
Oh, okay.
I
See, I
was
wasn't sure. Sorry.
no. Go
I've heard
ahead. Go ahead.
I've heard I guess I've heard and I've read different stories on it, and I ordered the level 4 ceramic plates, and it was mixed, and I wanted and another reason I wanted them was because they were much lighter, but I went with what I could afford, and ended up with those. But that's good to hear, because if that man's saying they're good, then I would definitely take his word for it 100%.
Absolutely. Like the only reason why when you said I want what I could afford, I'm like ceramic is. I thought it was better than steel because it's lighter. You can move faster with it versus
True.
steel where it's fucking heavy. And he,
Yeah.
like I said, he would know. Especially, I'm not trying to throw him under the bus with his age, but I'm going to. He's old enough that he's probably been in the military where he had wore steel and ceramic, so he knows the difference. And even just in training, he probably wore both, and he knows the difference. I wasn't. I wore in Blackwater they had steel, and I was surprised at how heavy it was. And I'm like,
Yeah,
these
they
fucking boys are doing this out there with this shit on. I'm like, yeah, man.
some of the steel plates I've held that a couple of my buddies have. Yeah, they were extremely heavy, but then I'd seen some that were online that were supposed to be real lightweight and real good you know things that I think it was Warrior. Uh, I'm not even gonna try to butcher. I can't remember who it was on there that I was watching, and he sells them on his website and stuff like that. But
Small liquor bottles. So Susan Williams is asking you, would small liquor bottles be better to barter with?
my personal opinion, it is, because it's basically like a ration. You can ration it out, so you have more buying power, basically. And then you can still, and plus they're easier to store, handle, carry, everything like that. So if you're trying to do some kind of a barter deal, to me, they'd be worth a little bit more.
Okay. Yeah, I mean that makes total sense.
Plus, you get different flavors.
So, yeah, you're right. Amy Arsenault Arsenault asks, what about Kevlar?
I have honestly, I do have a Kevlar vest. I'm not sure. It says level 3 in it. It's literally like it says balls level 3, but I don't know much about it, and I don't know how long that stuff lasts. I don't know how old this particular vest is, and I don't even remember where I got it. I got it so many years ago, but um, I just went with the plate carriers because I could put all the fun stuff on it, and you know, um, try to carry the things I need or may possibly need or whatever,
Yeah.
or whoever shoots me needs.
Very good. 0 feet per second asks, what is your opinion of shotguns for prepping? Would you balance the ratio of slugs to shells? I guess slugs to what is that called? Buckshot.
Birdshot,
All right.
buckshot. Oh, yeah. I kind of do somewhat, but also I went a lot heavier on bird rounds, because I have a decent amount of firearms to protect it around the house and everything with, and so I went with a lot more birdshot and everything like that for more hunting purposes. Plus, if I'm close enough, I guess I could probably put enough rounds in there to do some damage. But I think it's a lot better off, honestly, to split it, in my personal opinion, to run it a little bit closer to half and half. But then, of course, I found Dragon's Breath, so I ended up buying a ridiculous amount of that too. But you know,
Right.
to me, nothing will stop a crowd quicker than somebody getting shot and set on fire at the same time.
That is true. It'll stop people dead in their tracks. Like, shit, what the hell was that? Okay, so Lee Burres asks, are you a veteran? I asked you that question
No,
earlier, but no.
no, absolutely not. The only reason I say serve so much is because my dad is a veteran, and he was a very strict veteran. So I was raised that yes, sir, yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Well, that's why I asked. I was asking because you have that you just have that persona of like military, but because
Well, and sorry, I boxed for 10 years, and my boxing coach was a sergeant in the Marine Corps before he became a boxing coach. So we just called him Sarge, and that was another yes sir, no sir, way to address him and everything. And so that's, I guess, probably where I get it from.
you know
I
it's
don't.
funny. I yes sir no sir because of my parents, but here in New York, you say it, and not even just New York, but you say it to like, you say ma'am to some women, and like, ma'am, I'm not that
Yeah,
old. I'm like, lady, you're fucking older than I am. And it's not even about that. It's about, respect. But
yeah.
it's crazy. You show respect, and people are like, I'm not a ma'am. I'm like, God, we're gonna get into an argument over this bullshit. I'm showing you respect, and this is where it goes.
Right.
Tommy M asked, sorry, do you supplement your preps with hunting?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
majorly. Avid hunter, and so is my son-in-law. We both bow hunt and rifle hunt as well.
Okay.
Our favorite is actually bow hunting, and actually my all-time favorite of hunting and supplementing is stock hunting deer and turkeys. And so stock hunting a turkey is extremely interesting because they have really good vision actually, and deers can be cheated by just breaking up your pattern where turkeys can see a lot better from what I've seen and read. So and they do seem like they're a lot harder to stock hunt. They catch you a lot quicker than a deer will a lot of times.
All right. So Skip is asking, what is your YouTube handle? And
I don't know. I guess it's just my name, Andrew Julian Prepping for Life.
yeah,
Is
so
that
Skip, that's his YouTube handle.
okay?
Andrew
Okay.
Julian Prepping for Life. That's its legit name. Yeah, it's not like Andrew the Prepper or something like that.
Gosh, probably should have shortened that if I would have known anybody was going to watch it.
You could. You got to give it time. If I'm not mistaken, there's a point in time where you can change it. But if you're going to start growing and you're doing good, fuck it, leave it. You can use acronyms if you want.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, that's
and
true.
so not acronyms, but you could just yeah acronyms. You could do like AJPFL. Doesn't roll off the tongue that great, but you can use that.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Something to play around with, though.
Yeah, you can. And like I said, there is a point in time where you can change, and if you do wind up changing or shortening it, just let your viewers and your subscribers know that you're going to do that, so that they stay on. They don't
Okay, right.
click on your channel like, who the fuck is this dude? And then because they look at a different name. But I mean, listen, Andrew Julian Prepping for Life is different. So me personally, I wouldn't change it. Like,
Well, I am different, so it probably fits pretty good.
yeah, right. It fits well, man. It's just like people are looking for downtown prepper, uptown prepper, angry prepper, sad prepper,
Right.
mad prepper, right? So yours just stands out, so it's fine. David Darko said prepping for life or prepper life. Eh, those are two options, but nonetheless, I think it's do change it. It's you, right? Someone said Obama F Spike said, I don't know if I'm saying his name right, but I think Obama F Spike is saying, "Don't change it. It's you." Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm on his channel.
Yeah, I agree. New name for Andrew. He said a contest. Van Colt said contest. New name for Andrew. You'll always get You'll always get a what you call it. Someone that said a contest for this, a contest for that.
Yeah.
But like I said, your name is good. Put you in a hole, prepper. Put you in. Put a hole in you, prepper. I guess right. You right. All right, so guys, if we don't have any other questions, we're gonna go off. We are at the hour and 18-minute mark, which is very good. It actually flew by a lot faster uh, than I thought. I thought we were just at an hour, but we're 18 minutes past the hour, which is good. Oh, okay. So Bastis Farm, Chad's Bastis Farms asks, do you make your own dog food?
Oh yeah. My wife technically makes more of my own dog food, but yes, we do. And not like the pellets. Like I guess I should clarify that, not like pellets or anything. But we make a lot of like stews, and depending on the seasons, because we mix a lot of deer meat and stuff like that into it, and they get their fair share of, rabbit, duck, all that good stuff. And she has tons of recipes that we do in different times of years, and then the age of the dog as well. So we have a couple dogs that are getting up to their 14s, and so we change their diet up for them to try to supplement them a little bit more and give them soft food so they can have. And they all love home cooking. So yep, we definitely do make our own dog food.
Very good, man. I was talking to the wife about that, about dog food for hours, like making it because there's a company here, they make dog food, from scratch, peas, carrots, meat, whatever it is,
Yeah.
and then they freeze it in like these blocks, and then whatever. When you need it, you cut off a piece of that block, whatever it is, or you throw it out, and then you throw it into their food. But the company is super fucking expensive. Like they want, I think it's $60 a week or something like that.
Oh, wow.
Right, exactly. That was my reaction, and
Hmm.
I'm like, well, fuck that. If it's basic shit in it, and they're not adding vitamins or anything, we can do that on our own. We just have to bulk, make it in a big pot, put it in smaller blocks for him to thaw out and put in his food, and keep it in the fucking freezer. What's
Yeah.
that called? Vacuum seal the meat, the bags of food, and then put it in the freezer and be done with it.
Yeah, my wife does. She'll overmake it a lot of times, and then yeah, it'll hit the freezer and stuff like that. So she'll put it in different containers and stuff, and
You
you
know,
can definitely store your own dog food pretty easy. A lot of your preps that you do for yourself, in fact, can be easily used for your dog to make food for them. Also, if you do run out of kibble,
right. So, do you have a video on it?
I had one kind of small, shorter video on it, and then we did one with kind of a recipe. Um, and then now that I've talked to my wife and got her a little bit, she was even more camera shy than me, I think. But we'll probably do some. She's wanting to do some follow up videos on some actual cooking and stuff, and then hopefully I'll be getting a deer here pretty quick to be butchering up, and that'll be an ideal time for her to do some of the more wintertime soup recipes and stuff like that for them. I think the kids moved out. I think she just, we've always done it, but now that the kids moved out, she's, more interested in cooking for the dogs. So,
Very good. Very good. As long as you get some of that, well, not the dog food,
exactly.
but some of the
Well,
cooking.
the sad thing is, so it'll smell extremely good. I'll come in and I'll go, man, what is that? Oh, it's dog food. Damn it. But then sometimes, it's a combination. So she'll make supper for us, and it's made in such a way that it's for the dogs as well,
Right.
because we make it out of our prepper pantry. We make biscuits and gravy, bacon gravy or whatever. Well, that may be a portion for the dog too, is biscuits and gravy, just the same as we're eating.
Very good. So someone asked a question here. Fuck, man. See if I can capture it. I might have missed it. Someone asked about where's Prepper Now. Prepper Now is probably. If someone said he might be starting his live stream soon. So if you guys don't mind after this, you head over to that. Nope, he's still here. Sorry. Oh, but someone said to do a video on that, please. I guess the dog food thing. I guess a bigger video on it. I guess, right?
Yeah, we'll be making some more. And in fact, one of them I want to do is on our outside cooking area. That if it's bad weather or it's just hot out and we still need to make dog food, so I want to do a video of our outside cooking area, and then make some. I want to do quite a few more of those. It's fun. My wife enjoys it, and it shows the different things that you can use out of your prepper pantry to help you and your dog be better off if there is a bad situation.
Right. Very good. Country gravy is good. Oh, someone said country gravy is good. All right,
Oh yeah.
guys. So we are almost at the hour and a half mark. Cooked bones for dogs, smoked bones. Okay, no cooked bones for dogs or smoked. All right, so Nancy Howell said no cooked bones for dogs and or smoked bones. Is that true? I know.
So we prefer raw because the bone marrow in general is just better that way for them. And however, now I'm not a vet or a food specialist or anything like that. However, I know my wife has cooked the bones before as well, but it may be just because they get softer or something, and there's more of a chance of them choking on it or something like that is what I'm guessing. But we prefer the raw anyways, so or uncooked anyways, just because it's so much more nutritious for them and everything. So we don't really do it much, but occasionally we do.
Okay. What do you think?
And we've raised dogs. Well, not necessarily raised dogs, but we've had dogs for over 20 years. In such a fashion. I used to have hunting dogs and stuff like that. So taking care of them like that, we've done for a long time.
Hunting dogs. You don't. The dogs you own now are not hunting dogs.
The dogs I own now are lazy dogs. Actually, I have some really good energetic dogs. They just get a. We used to show dogs and stuff like that too, but yeah, I used to have actual hunting dogs and everything like that. But pretty noisy, and I had other things to do that I really didn't utilize them for what they needed to be used for. So they were just once they were gone, I just never really got no more. So
Gotcha. Very good. All right, guys. So we are going to wrap it up now. Thank you for joining us tonight, Andrew. Thank you for joining me tonight.
sure,
This is really cool. Again, another good guest on the show. In my opinion, tomorrow night is going to be TJ Preps, so she'll be on tomorrow night, and I'm gonna try to do a couple of more solo live streams next week. I think I don't know, but we shall see. With the city closing down, I'm definitely going to do not closing down, but the talk of closing down. I'm definitely going to do a live stream next week about that. So stay tuned for that because the next shutdown here in the city is going to fucking hurt. And that's all I can say about that. All right. So again, thank you to my moderators. Thank you for you guys watching. Thank you for Andrew being on the show. If you haven't already, please head over to Andrew's channel, Andrew Prepping for Life. Like and subscribe to his channel. And guys, do not forget to hit the thumbs up button on this video or the thumbs down, whatever makes you happy. And when you head over to Andrew's channel, please watch his videos. They're really informative. They're really good. Like all the videos if you possibly can because, again, they are that good. Other than that, guys, see you later tonight. Andrew, you have anything else you want to say?
no, sir. Just thank you for having me on. It was very entertaining. I had a good time.
Very good, man. All right, guys, other than that, good night.